Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to do regular maintenance of your H2D printer. Regular cleaning and lubrication help keep your 3D printer running smoothly, prevent problems, keep your 3D printer in top condition, and make it last longer. With that said, let's get right into it. Let's start with the front door. The front door can get hazy as print residue builds up on the glass over time, reducing visibility. To get rid of that thin film of residue, use a microfiber cloth or non-woven cloth dampened with isopropyl alcohol and give it a good scrub. Don't forget to clean the glass windows on the side panels as well as the top cover. Now while we're at it, let's wipe down the exterior of the printer to remove dust and fingerprints. Make sure to go into those crevices and tight corners. If you don't have a microfiber cloth or non-woven cloth, paper towel works just fine. Another area that can get really dusty are the exhaust grills located on the back of the printer. Now let's rotate the printer to get access to those grills. To remove them, first pull the grills towards you, then lift the right side. Then rotate them like this and lift them slightly to release them from the latch. If you have an air duster, you can use it to blow off the coarser dust, then wipe them clean afterward with a microfiber cloth dampened with alcohol, or wash them under running warm water. Now before we move on, let's talk about the Wolfbox MegaFlow 200, which is also the sponsor for today's video. The Wolfbox MegaFlow 200 is a versatile and powerful electric air duster. It replaces your conventional wasteful, less powerful disposable compressed air cans. The air duster runs up to 100 minutes on a single charge. It's rechargeable, which means you'll never have to buy compressed air cans again. Just charge it and it's good to go. The rechargeable battery is also swappable, so you can get a spare battery pack like this MegaFlow 200B to extend its runtime, which is super handy for camping, road trips, or anytime you're away from a power outlet. The MegaFlow 200 has 3 speed settings: low, medium, and high. It's compact and lightweight and is easy to carry around. It's also very versatile and can be used for cleaning your gadgets, dusting off household items, cleaning cars, or for various outdoor activities. Thanks to its high-speed brushless motor, it spins at up to 100,000 RPM and delivers wind speeds of up to 196 miles per hour, making it powerful enough to tackle stubborn dust and debris with ease. It comes with 4 nozzles and can be swapped out depending on what you're using it for. I'll leave a link to it down below, so make sure to click on it and get your MegaFlow 200 today. Now back to those exhaust grills. Before reinstalling them, let's brush off the dust on the exhaust fan cover. Then reinstall the grills by doing everything in reverse. Now let's move on to the X-axis rail. Let's remove the plate to keep it away from oil and grease. Use a microfiber cloth or paper towel dampened with alcohol to clean all surfaces of the rail, and while you're at it, clean the belts as well. To clean the grooves on the rail, I'm using this tool, which I also featured in my A1 maintenance video. Just cut a small piece of paper towel, damp it with alcohol. Use the tool to clean the grooves by moving it left to right a few times. Move the tool head to the other side and repeat. To reapply the lubricant oil, I'm going to screw on this applicator to the tube. Likewise, this is designed for the A1 X-axis rails, but it works for the H2 rails as well. With this applicator, applying the lubricant on the lower rail is so much easier. Then just move the tool head left to right for a few times to spread the oil evenly. Next, we're going to clean the Y-axis rods. Use microfiber cloth or paper towel dampened with alcohol to clean both rods. This tool here makes it so much easier to clean all the surfaces of the rods. Just clamp a paper towel in between and slide it back and forth a few times. Then reapply the oil on the rods. To spread the oil evenly, either use the same tool or this tool. Then move the tool head back and forth a few times. Before cleaning the Z-axis rods, we need to take care of the lead screws first. To clean the lead screw, I'm gonna wrap a gear floss around it and use a shoe shine motion to slowly move the floss up and down the screw. This works old grease and debris out of the threads. Then apply some lubricant grease on the lead screw. Repeat for the lead screw on the other side. Now for the rear lead screw, I'm gonna use this plier tool. Place the gear floss on its teeth and clamp it to lock its position. Now move the bed up and down a few times using the control menu on the screen. This will also help spread the grease on the lead screws we applied earlier. When reapplying the grease, make sure to not go overboard. Less is more. Now let's clean the Z-axis rods using the same method as we did with the Y-axis rods earlier. The Z-axis rod has a smaller diameter than the Y-axis rod, so you want to use this tool instead. Next, reapply the lubricant oil and spread it with this tool. Lastly, move the bed up and down again a few times to spread the oil evenly. Next, let's move on to the extruder lifting rail. Before we start, make sure that no filament is loaded in the left or the right nozzle. Take the front cover off and remove both hot ends so it's easier to do the maintenance. Now remove these 4 screws. Some models don't have the 4th screw, so just remove these 3 screws. We want to take this part off. Press the filament cutter lever and at the same time, push the hot end connector upward and gently pull it outward. If you see any debris or filament pieces, blow it off with an air duster. Use a Q-tip dampened with alcohol to clean the rail. Now drop some lubricant oil on a Q-tip and apply it to the rail. To reinstall the filament guide, do everything in reverse. The nozzle camera can get dirty over time from filament residue, so it's a good practice to clean it from time to time. Use a Q-tip and wet it with alcohol. Wipe the camera lens and it'll be good as new. Now while the front cover is still off, it's a good time to check for the flow blocker. The silicone part looks pretty damaged, so let's replace that with a new one. Grab the lever and gently move it to the center to have access to that screw and remove it. The replacement flow blocker comes assembled already, so you can just replace the whole thing by doing everything in reverse. Check for any damage on your silicone socks and replace them if necessary. Silicone socks are one of those consumables that can potentially get damaged during printing failures, so I recommend keeping a few spares on hand. If the surface of the heater blocks are covered in burnt filament, heat them up to 250 degrees Celsius and use a paper towel to clean them and wipe off the burnt filament residue. Make sure to wear protective gloves while doing it to avoid burns. You can clean your hot ends the same way by heating them up to 250 degrees Celsius while they're mounted, then take them off and wipe the residue off the surface with a heat-resistant sponge or just paper towel if you don't have any. To replace a worn-out cutter blade, first we need to remove the screws that holds the cutter in place. I'm gonna replace the filament cutter blade on the right side, but the same steps also apply to the cutter blade on the left side. Now carefully take out the cutter lever. Then remove the old cutter from its slot and replace it with a new one. To install it correctly, make sure the notch is facing upward. To reinstall everything, insert the cutter lever with the new blade back into the extruder, making sure the blade goes back into its slot. Hold the cutter lever in position so that the screw holes line up, then screw it back in. The activated charcoal filter has to be replaced regularly to maintain the VOC absorption efficiency. To do that, first lower the heat bed to its lowest position. Remove the cover. Grab the pull strap and pull it upward and outward at the same time. Let's install a new filter. Before reinstalling the front cover, it's also a good idea to clean it from any dust or filament residue. Blow off the dust and clean it with a microfiber cloth dampened with alcohol and reinstall. As a bonus tip, print this debris catching mat and simply install it at the base inside the printer. The catching mat makes it so much easier and quicker to clean the debris, filament scraps, and waste that get collected at the base of your printer. Just fold it upward like so, then you can remove the whole mat in one piece to then dispose of the waste. You could also invest in something like this debris catching mat from Bambu, which works the same way. It's made of soft silicone, so it's much easier to handle and it can withstand high temperatures. They make this in different sizes and for different printers. I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out. If you're having poor adhesion issues, it might be time to wash the plate. Washing your plate with a dish soap is the best way to clean your plate from grease. Just use any cheap dish soap to wash it under running hot water. Of course, it's best to avoid touching the printing area of the plate altogether so you don't transfer any grease from your hand. If you need to, just hold it by the edges when bending it, or just wait for it to cool down, as the print usually just lifts off on its own. So those are the regular maintenance tasks you should perform to keep your printer running smoothly and looking its best. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and drop a comment to help the channel out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.